And just like the deception and fraud of socialism itself, the current so-called health care reform legislation has more to do with government gaining more power and control over the lives of individuals than it has to do with actual medical care itself. So with the various bills pending and hundreds of amendments to these bills also being considered, what's the word of the day? Compromise. Well, what does compromise mean? Well, in the healthcare arena, in healthcare legislation, it's akin to basically debating how much cyanide is acceptable to add to the Kool-Aid. If you look at the U.S. Constitution, the words healthcare, medical care, and medicine do not appear anywhere in the U.S. Constitution. Our government is in fact, you're right, our government is in fact not authorized to practice medicine or to interfere in the practice of medicine. You should recognize socialism when you see it, even in its stealthy and hidden forms, even in its incrementally implemented forms. You should call it by its rightful name, not some euphemism, and you should speak out against it at every opportunity. We have many people in this country, living and dead, who have made great sacrifices for our freedom. And we owe it to these people not to dishonor them by inviting into our country the very things that they fought so hard against.
You see, we're all in the same boat, and there's one principle about a boat is you can't sink half of it. We either live in freedom or servitude. There is no middle ground. This is the choice we have today. It's freedom. Every one of us has to join the Army. There is only one solution, that's to kill this bill. There is no compromise. There is no way to twerk it. We have to kill this bill. We have to have 1,000-to-1 phone calls against our elected officials and scare the daylights out of them. They'll never be reelected if they vote for this, because we either will live in freedom or servitude. There is no in between. Obama said we want fundamental reform of our system of government. He's dismantling the First Amendment. He's ordered all insurance companies, they cannot not notify any of their people what's happening in the insurance business. He stopped the Third Amendment, the right to privacy. Fourth Amendment, search and seizures. They get your private medical records. Fifth Amendment in private insurance is not acceptable. The Ninth Amendment, enumeration of the Constitution of certain rights. The 10th Amendment, powers not delegated to the states. They can't interfere with the states. The 13th Amendment says slavery and involuntary servitude will be prohibited by law. All doctors will be slaves of the state. We will get no income except what the federal government allows. All patients will be wards of the state. This is slavery reenacted by our first black president.
I want to say something about race. I think it's very important. My wife is sitting over there. She's not a white person, but I still love her. I want to say that I am definitely for a black president, but I am against the policies and the political ideology of this particular president. Just as I am against those of Nancy Reid and Harry Pelosi, and the last time I looked, it's the other way, the last time I looked they were white. These are not issues of race, and I resent opposition to Mr. Obama being construed as racism. Mr. Obama is a supporter of Planned Parenthood, an organization responsible for the extermination of 300,000 African American babies every year. He is therefore in favor of genocide against his own race. In reality, it's racism to believe that all persons of color have to believe in the same way. It's racism to believe that they have to all be left-wing ideologues. It's racist to call black people who think for themselves traitors or worse. And it's racist to tell people they're not capable of thinking for themselves and have to be dependent on government handouts. Liberals are the true racists in this society. The government knows this. Obama's not stupid. I'm sorry, but he's just evil. Medicare paved the way for insurance to become involved. We must understand Mr. Obama's attempts at healthcare reform and his other attempts at change for what they are. He is a statist, he believes in control by the government, and its dear leader, fascism by any other name. what we must do. Don't let any of the government plans, Democrat plans, pass. Now listen, I propose something more radical, We need to end Medicare, Medicaid, and the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and I don't think very many people are into that, but I'm telling you, we need to do that.
So that our governor, through our National Guard, can actually implement a quarantine program and a type of forced vaccine if he wants. What can we do? Do you have any recommendations if these measures are taken by our government? What would you recommend that we do as citizens to deal with this vaccine and the actual possible quarantine or confinement of us in camps or whatever it might be?
I think someone behind me just mentioned the Second Amendment, but that's a very serious point. I mean, they're talking about core civil liberties. I mean, when they can come in and into your house without a warrant, take you away and put you in jail without charges and without a trial, that's really scary. And you have to oppose that any way that you can oppose that. And again, maybe the Second Amendment's a good thing to think about.
It was judges, not